Emoji movie, which me and Fred Daddy watched last night. And if you didn't see that, that's fine. A lot of people didn't. There was a few of you guys who watched, but we did live stream us watching it on the YouTube live stream feature. And we'll probably be doing another one tonight if I can get him to watch another one of these bad movies we're supposed to watch. So if you guys want to join, just check around like 8-ish. We'll probably be on. You'll probably get an update if you have notifications turned on. And if you don't, turn them on and subscribe if you're new. Also leave a like. We're trying to make a start, and it's hard, especially when you're beginning. And so we're trying to make the content better and better. So I'm sure you're already bored of looking at this logo, so I'll move on. For starters, I hated this movie with the burning passion of 1,000 hellfires. It was awful. And I'll be structuring this review a little different. There will be spoilers. I'm going to be going in depth into the plot and into the details as to why I hated this movie. You hear everybody said they hated this movie when it came out, and I didn't see it. But there's a reason everybody hated it. It's because it's garbage. It's literal filth. I think I hate this movie worse than any of the bad movies I've watched so far. I don't even know what to say about it, but we're going to go into the details of the plot, with exclamation points because, or whatever they are. I don't really care. I'm not thinking straight. This movie actually made me dumber. I'm 90% sure I lost 10 IQ points at least. So we're going to go into the plot here. So the movie centers around Gene, I believe his name was, a meh emoji who lives in the smartphone of a kid named Alex, who wants to get in the pants of a girl. I think her name is Addie, because it's the same name as my dog. Yeah, that was barely mentioned, that whole subplot with Alex and what's-her-face. So meh, he has other emotions other than meh. God forbid. And basically that's the problem with this movie. That's the plot. He wants to be different, but everybody has a set standard for the way things are supposed to be. And if that sounds familiar, that's because it's every other movie animated ever in existence. It's such a tired cliche, and they took it, did nothing original with it, and made it boring. I mean, at least with something like the Lego movie, you had the Chosen One cliche, which was taken and made original again. No, they just rehashed everything. And I have a theory, and this is not one of my dumb, funny theories. I actually have a real theory as to why this movie was made. And I'll get into that later on. So, Gene comes to this machine. He gets chosen because his parents retire, and when What's-His-Face decides to send a message to Who's and What's It, it shows up as him making other faces because he doesn't make the right face. And because of that, she thinks Who's and What's It is weird. And I know this is really confusing, but believe me, it was for me too. Yeah, and basically that was what the focal point of this movie was. So Gene is brought before Smiler, who was the villain of the movie, and Smiler talks with Gene all about all the stuff he's done wrong. I mean, here she is pictured again. And Gene is forced to wait outside while a small council convenes. Meanwhile, the small council decides that they are going to execute him, which a lot of them weren't in agreement on, but she was, and she's kind of like their leader. She's the most popular emoji, and she was like the first emoji, they said, somewhere, I think. I don't know. Honestly, none of this really matters at all the further into the movie you get. And while this is going on, there is High Five, played by, I think it was James Corden. And I hate him. I hate this character the most. Maybe the girl character I hated slightly more. But no, I think it was this character. He was annoying. He was the fat sidekick that nobody wanted there. His jokes were always unfunny, no matter what. They were always unfunny, poorly written. And I mean, this movie, when it comes to humor, it goes to the lowest common denominator. It goes for every other stock humor you would expect from one of these dumb movies. Every bad joke you could possibly make involving emojis, it makes. While skipping out on all the clever ones, a lot of these modern movies, modern day anime movies seem to get. Because I honestly do think anime movies are getting better and better. And then something like this comes along. Ugh. Yeah. So they use these things, which were like glitches, I think. They were whatever. They delete stuff, And they try to use them to delete Gene the meh emoji, and he escapes and teams up with High Five somehow. I don't remember exactly how that happened because it was contrived. And then High Five takes Gene to the Losers Emoji Club in a really cringy and unfunny scene. Where also, there was something I noticed in this scene, so it's kind of hard to see here because this is like a gif of it. But a guy there is eating Chinese food, and they pointed out in the movie, but the Chinese food he's eating from is an emoji. And the questions that raises are kind of disturbing. Like, I'm sitting here thinking, wow, what if they eat other emojis? And because they show emojis eating all the time, so do they cannibalize each other? Are the food emojis that aren't being used, are they farmed like cows? I mean, this is just really bizarre and kind of weird to me. So I've been thinking about it, and I think yes, I think there's a weird like Soylent and Greens thing going on here where they're secretly eating each other and they don't even realize it. And so yeah, that's that part of the story. They go to the piracy app to try to get Gene fixed because he's a glitch, evidently, because he shows other emotions. Although they all show other emotions, so it's kind of weird and redundant. Where they meet this chick, I think was named Jailbreak. I don't know. And she was the feminist propaganda machine. I meant the female character / romantic interests. That was really irritating to me. Yeah, I hated her almost as much as I hated High Five. And Gene is marginally better than these characters, but they're still just horrible characters, all of them. And with her, they go to get this Dropbox. There's an entire plot here where they have to get to Dropbox, and they even make lines and jokes about how amazing Dropbox is and how secure Dropbox is, and it just makes me hate myself, honestly. This movie, I make jokes about this all the time, but I'm serious. This one made me dead inside. Menace: The Hands of Fate doesn't hold a candle to this movie. I mean, don't watch it. Don't even watch it ironically. I'm warning you guys. So to get to Dropbox, they have to go through, I think it was, the Just Dance app. They have to go through the Just Dance app for more product placement, where he teaches her to dance, and they dance, and then the robots come in, and the robots are dancing too, and then the robots are shooting at them. And then, what's his face? High Five gets deleted, but it is immediately saved, like, a scene later. And there's a whole, like, 2-scene part where they're going to get him, and they go through, like, YouTube. And they pick some of the worst YouTube videos I've ever seen to represent YouTube. It was just, that whole scene was bad. And I'm not going to talk about it because it wasn't even relevant to furthering the plot. So, of course, because, they hadn't done it yet, they spontaneously are in love with each other, Jailbreak and Gene, because, what's an animated movie without a forced and stupid love interest? And that's all going well. They finally get to Dropbox with High Five, who now knows the name of his girlfriend, which they need as a password or something. I kind of stopped paying attention at this point. And then it's revealed that Jailbreak is actually a princess, and then she dumps Gene because she doesn't need a man, because she's a strong, independent woman. And it really didn't make sense, and she was totally into him earlier, and it was just shoved in there so they could have a feminist thing. But then it's completely undercut later with what happens towards the end of the movie, and so it becomes really stupid and pointless, like a lot of this movie. And so she's actually a princess, but she doesn't want to be a princess, and yeah, so they go into that whole stereotype. It's like another Disney stereotype. So since princesses can call birds for some reason, she calls the Twitter bird because we needed more product placement. I'll get into the product placement later. Believe me, I counted the product placement. There's a lot of product placement. I honestly think this movie should be called Product Placement the Movie and not the Emoji Movie, because I think there's more product placement on the screen at a given time than there are emojis, which is amazing. So the end of the movie wraps up pretty nicely. Gene is back to being depressed because he got dumped. He goes back. They're going to execute him publicly with his dad, who I didn't even bring up because that was a whole subplot that was not relevant to the plot, so I didn't bring it up. Yeah, basically this dude's going to execute them. Jailbreak shows up and kills the monster somehow. I don't really remember. And then the kid Alex deletes his phone, and all of these emojis got deleted. At this point, me and Frat Daddy were celebrating because they were all dying, and we loved it because it was the most interesting thing that happened in the movie so far. And then, of course, he makes his weird faces, and the girl sees him, and for some reason this time likes it and thinks that it shows the kid's expression of emotions, which is really dumb. Because honestly, kids emojis aren't the way you pick up girls. That's not how it works. Because you know me, I'm the lady expert. Yeah. Um. So they get out. Of course, the phone when he unplugs it because the emoji worked isn't deleted, even though all those files got deleted. It just magically reverts back because that's how deleting works. I wish I could show you, but I don't actually have a clip of it since the quality of the movie we watched was terrible because we pirated it from the Pirate app, which is evidently a real app because, everybody downloads Pirate the app. Yeah, that's not how pirating works. This movie did not understand that at all. And yeah, that everything ends happy. I guess Jean and Jailbreak hooked up because as soon as he got depressed, she, like, changed her plans just so he wouldn't kill himself, basically. Which is a horrible lesson to give to girls. Terrible. I don't know what they were trying to go for, but it was dumb to stick in a feminist message in the Emoji movie anyway. Or they should have done it a little more slyly. They did it in the most stereotypical and stupid way possible. Because, if you don't shoehorn in your political opinions in a movie, then you're doing it wrong. So, the aftermath and merchandising. So, this is the section I've made here to talk about the fallout, which I know all of you know about. For this movie. I'm a little late on this review since I did not go see it myself because it might have killed me had I seen this in the theater and paid money for it. It might have. So, obviously, everybody was really excited about the Emoji movie, and suicide rates did not increase 90%. This is a joke. I'm sure you all know that, but they might as well should have because I would not be surprised if somebody killed themselves after seeing this movie. In fact, I'd just be like, oh, you had the guts to do what I couldn't. Man, good on you. It hit with a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes and an average rating of 1.7, just 0.2 above that of Shark Exorcist, which is impressive. And I think it had a 2 or a 2.5 on IMDb. I'm not quite sure. I looked. And, so critics loved it, clearly. It was the best movie all year, according to several critics, and did not signify the end of the world, according to the Bible, according to another critic. So that's good. I found this picture when I was looking through it, and I thought you guys would enjoy this. And it's a terrible quality, I know, because I had to blow it up. But they're Emoji movie fidget spinners. Like, it couldn't get even worse. And so here's my idea, right? Here's how you make this movie better. You make it an R movie. It's a dark comedy that stars the eggplant and the peach emoji falling in love with each other. Just cut out all those other characters you made. They're lame. Just make it like Sausage Party, and it would automatically be better. But that's just my idea, hard R. And so into the product placement, these were just the major ones I spotted out. Obviously YouTube had a whole segment. Dropbox was the whole point. So was, in fact, I didn't even talk about the Candy Crush scene. God, it was like a whole 20-minute sequence. So was the Just Dance and the Dropbox. It was just 20 minutes each of, like, I honestly think 70% of this movie was dedicated to giant product placements. And of course Sony phones were all over in the background. Sorry, my roommate just flushed. That can be in here. I really don't even care. This whole movie is a giant turd anyway. It's in its natural environment. So Snapchat was in one of the apps they ran through. Yeah, Dropbox was in this a lot, and so was Twitter. Twitter was in it a ton with the bird, and you can see the app, and Candy Crush. I cannot believe Candy Crush is a major plot point in this movie. So I was so frustrated in particular by the Just Dance scene because it was stupid and pointless. So I went ahead and downloaded their app because I had to. Put a 1-star review of it, and I put, "This app sucks because of emojis. I just saw your horrible product placement in the Emoji movie, and now I have lost my will to live. Thanks, Just Dance. You're almost as bad as Sony itself." Hopefully somebody from them sees that, but I know they won't. Also, shockingly enough, going through this movie's pictures online, I discovered a piece of fan art, this lovely, beautiful piece, and I thought, this is kind of ironic, I guess. So I went ahead and I went against my better judgment and typed in Emoji Movie fan art, God, into the search bar, and then I came up with this. All of these, and I'm pretty sure 2 of these are ironic, but I actually think the rest of these are actual fan art, and it's some pretty weird stuff. Just take a moment and look at this. Just look at this. Why is this a thing? Who liked this movie? Who? I'm dying on the inside, guys. Please tell me why people like this. Why? Yep, now we're getting to the section. Why was this movie made? Now, you might jump to conclusions and say, well, I mean, it's Sony, money. And you would be partly right, but I also have a theory that this movie is an experiment, right? They're trying to see if they can make a garbage movie that everybody knows is going to be garbage, but make the entire movie revolve around showing as much product placement as possible, and seeing if they can make more money than making a good movie and releasing it with little to no product placement. And so far as I've seen, their experiment actually worked out for them. They made a lot of money off this movie. Just at the box office alone, they made a lot. Not to mention all of the product placement, which is rampant in this movie. Just so much of it. So I actually think that's what's been going on. Fred Dyke disagrees. He just thinks that they were just being whores. But I just like to think there's more to it than that, because Sony isn't stupid. Or maybe they are. I just can't see any reason why anybody would think the Emoji Movie was a good idea. Ever. Beyond that, I hated this movie. The only good thing I would possibly point out in it is that the animation is actually pretty good. I kind of feel bad for the animation team who made this because it looks good, especially the scenes where there's real people and not inside the phone. It's pretty, there's cool color grading and all that. It almost looks like a Pixar movie in its quality, but nothing else about it is good, and it's not worth seeing for the animation. Don't fall for it. It's a trap. None of this movie is good. I would give this movie a negative 2 out of 10, but I can't because that's not an actual real score, and I'm trying to keep this, natural. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a 1 out of 10 instead of a 0 out of 10 because the animation was okay. And it was pretty good. So I'm going to give it a 1 out of 10. This is my lowest reviewed movie yet, I believe. I don't know that I ever actually gave Menace: The Hands of Fate a number score because there's a part 3 coming to that. And I've seen other few movies that aren't out yet, but this is the worst movie I've seen in a long time. This movie almost killed me, guys. It was bad. Well, thanks for watching. This has been my review of the Emoji Movie. If you'd like to join me again tonight on YouTube Live, I'll probably stream. Just turn on your notifications. I'll start streaming tonight, probably. If not a movie, then a game. Maybe I'll do more kicking or whatever. Yeah, feel free to. I'll chat with you or whatever. Just, yeah, we'll watch the garbage movie together. Maybe it'll kill me less. So one other thing, guys, if you like this, then subscribe and like and turn on your notifications for me. I've got tickets on Friday to go see Blade Runner 2049. I'm really excited for that, so I might do a review of Blade Runner tomorrow if I have the time. Just, since everybody else is doing it, might as well join the crowd. So thank you. Please leave any other movies you'd like me to review in the comments below. I really enjoy getting your comments, and I do read them and answer almost every single one, or all of them, especially considering I only get like 10 comments a video. So if you have any movie at all, I mean, I did this one, guys. I'll see anything and do a review of it. If it's bad enough, I'll make one of my full reviews. This was closer to a full review. So yeah, just leave it in the comments below, and thanks for getting this far. Good on you. You got farther than I would have. Alright, bye guys. This has been Bjorn, who's slowly dying on the inside.